ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवतिरुत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी। मम ज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषशून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे। हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। श्रीमद्भागवतम कैंटो 4 चैप्टर 9 वर्स 30। ध्रुववाच समाधिना नैकभवेन यत्पदं विदुःसनदादय ऊर्ध्वरेतसः मासेरहं षड्भिरमुष्य पादयोश्छायामुपेत्यापगतः पृथन्मतिः. Dhruva Maharaj taught himself to endeavor to be situated in the shade of the lotus feet of the Lord is not an ordinary task, because even the great brahmacharis headed by Sanandana, who practiced Ashtanga Yoga in trance, attained the shelter of the Lord's lotus feet only after many, many births. Within 6 months, I achieved the same result, yet due to my thinking differently from the Lord, I fell down from my position. In this verse, Dhruva Maharaj himself explains the cause of his moroseness. First, he laments that to see the Supreme Lord directly is not easy. Even great saintly persons, like the four celebrated brahmacharis headed by Sanandana, Sanaka, Sanatana, Sanat Kumara, practiced the yoga system for many, many births and remained in trance before getting the opportunity to see the Supreme Lord face to face. As far as Dhruva was concerned, he saw the Supreme Lord personally after only 6 months of practice in devotional service. He expected, therefore, that as soon as he met the Supreme Lord, the Lord would take him to his abode immediately, without waiting. Dhruva could understand very clearly that the Lord had offered him the rule of the world for 36,000 years, because in the beginning he was under the spell of material energy and wanted to take revenge against his stepmother and rule over his father's kingdom. Dhruva Maharaj greatly lamented his propensity for ruling the material world and his revengeful attitude towards other living entities. This is the most important thing. Uh, Lamenting for our weakness, material weakness, we should lament. And because this desire was so deep that the Lord actually decided to fulfill. Take this and then come. Mm, So we have to be very careful. We shouldn't have any kind of material desires. Mm, And if in case the Lord decides to fulfill, then we are the one who loses, right? Like Dhruva Maharaj is lamenting. Mm, Yeah. अहो बत ममानात्म्यं मन्दभाग्यस्य पश्यत भवच्छिदः पादमूलं गत्वा याचेयदन्तवत्. Alas, just look at me. I'm so unfortunate. I approach the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord, who can immediately cut the chain of the repetition of birth and death. But still, out of my foolishness, I prayed for things which are perishable. The word anatmyam is very significant in this verse. Atma means soul, anatmya means without any conception of the soul. Srila Rishabhadeva instructed his sons that unless a human being comes to the point of understanding the Atma or spiritual position, whatever he does in ignorance, mm, and this brings only defeat in his life. So if we are on the material platform, then we are in ignorance, and that just brings defeat in our life. Dhruva Maharaj regrets his unfortunate position, for although he approached the Supreme Lord, who is always able to give his devotee the highest benediction of cessation of repetition of birth and death, which is impossible for any demigod to offer, he foolishly wanted something perishable. When Hiranyakashipu asked immortality from Lord Brahma expressed his inability to offer such a benediction, because he himself is not immortal. Therefore, immortality or complete cessation of the chain of birth and death can be offered by the Supreme Lord, not by others. Harim vina na mritim taranti. It is said that without the blessings of Hari, no one can stop the continuous chain of birth and death within this material world. Therefore, the Supreme Lord is also called Bhavachit. The Vaishnava philosophy in the process of Krishna consciousness prohibits the devotee from all kinds of material aspirations. If you didn't know, Prabhupada is making it very clear. Prohibits the devotee from all kinds of material aspirations. A Vaishnava devotee should always be anyavilashita shunya, free from all material aspirations. For the results of fruitive activities are empirical, philosophical speculation. Dhruva was actually initiated by Narada Muni, the greatest Vaishnava, in the chanting of Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. This mantra is a Vishnu mantra. For by practicing the chanting of this mantra, one is elevated to the Vishnu Loka. Dhruva Maharaj regrets that although he was initiated in the Vishnu mantra by a Vaishnava, he still aspired for material benefits. See, again, that was another cause for lamentation. Although he got the result of the Vishnu mantra by the causeless mercy of the Lord, he lamented how foolish he was to have strived for material benefits while practicing devotional service. Hmm. So, which means that he had this desire before. After he got initiated from Narada Muni, also he continued to have that desire. All the desire only stopped when he saw the Supreme Lord. So he was lamenting because he still strived for material benefits while practicing devotional service. See, this is the key thing. It's not a problem if you have material desires before coming to Krishna consciousness. It's not a problem if you have material desires even after we come into Krishna consciousness till we get initiated. But it's definitely a problem to have material desires even after initiation. Problem meaning, yeah, we want to lament. That's all. How foolish we were. In other words, every one of us who is engaged in devotional service should be completely free from all material aspirations. Can we get a more straightforward sentence than this from Srila Prabhupada? Should be completely free from all material aspirations. Otherwise, we will have to lament like Dhruva Maharaj. See, this is Prabhupada's blessing. If we want to do this, we can actually become completely free. Otherwise, we will end up lamenting. We should be completely free. This should be means it is a use of our independence, of our free will. Our inability is okay. I mean, I want to, but I'm not able to. Okay, that is a different problem altogether. That is okay. That Krishna also understands and he empowers, he gives us, supports us, mm, gives us mercy. But if we don't want to be completely free from material aspirations, nobody can do anything. So we should understand these statements are all written by Srila Prabhupada, right? Unfortunately, for some reason, these statements are not discussed at all. These are the statements one has to discuss. These are the statements one has to discuss. Vaishnava philosophy prohibits devotee from all kinds of material aspirations. One should be completely free from all material aspirations, otherwise one will lament. And we have to take these things seriously, saying that yes, if I want perfection, of course, all these purports are for whom? For one who wants to perfect their life. For them, these purports. These purports are not for, yeah, if somebody has some other goal, like Dhruva Maharaj said, right, in the previous verse, he said, thinking differently from the Lord. He said he was thinking differently from the Lord, meaning Lord doesn't want us to rot in this material world. If we want, then we are thinking differently from the Lord. Rishabhdev, when Rishabhdev is discussing no, Kashyapa Muni, no, sorry, Kapila. Kapila is talking about three modes, devotional service in three modes. Prabhupada translates that as separatist attitude, separatist mentality, meaning being separate. The thought process is separate from that of the Lord. Lord wants something, we are wanting something else. That separatist mindset will not help us. Mm, Yeah. Matir vidushita devai patadbir asahishnubihi yo naradavachastatyam nagrahisham asattamaha. Since all the demigods who are situated in the higher planetary system will have to come down again, they're all envious of my being elevated to Vaikuntha Loka by devotional service. These intolerant demigods have dissipated my intelligence, and only for this reason could I not accept the genuine benediction of the instructions of sage Narada. It's just Dhruva is speculating. As shown by many instances in Vedic literature, when a person undergoes severe austerities, demigods become very much perturbed because they're afraid, always afraid of losing their post as the predominating deities of the heavenly planets. It is known to them that their position in the higher planetary system is impermanent, as it is stated in the Bhagavad Gita. Kshine punya martya lokam vishanti. It is said in the Gita that after exhausting the results of their pious activities, all the demigods who are inhabitants of the higher planetary system have to come back again to this earth. But this is only when somebody is after material desires. Only then demigods become perturbed. But demigods are actually not perturbed if one wants to go to Vishnu. They're happy. They help the devotee. It is a fact that the demigods control the different activities of the limbs of our bodies. This is our karma phala coming through demigods. Actually, we are not free even in the moving of our eyelids. Everything is controlled by them. Dhruva Maharaj's conclusion is that these demigods, being envious of his superior position in devotional service, conspired against him to pollute his intelligence. And thus, although he was a disciple of a great Vaishnava, Narada Muni, he could not accept Narada's valid instructions. Now, Dhruva regretted why very much that he had neglected these instructions. Narada Muni had asked him, why should you bother about insult or adoration from your stepmother? He of course said to Dhruva Maharaj that since Dhruva was only a child, what did he have to do with such insult or adoration? But Dhruva was determined to achieve the benediction of the Supreme Person of Godhead. And therefore, Narada advised him to go back home for the time being, and in mature time, he could try to practice devotional service. Dhruva regretted that he had rejected the advice of Narada Muni and was adamant in asking for something perishable, namely revenge against his stepmother for her insult and possession of the kingdom of his father. Of course, it's a very complicated thing, actually. Dhruva, Narada Muni was also testing. Still, Narada Muni knew Dhruva Maharaj's mentality. Still, he initiated him. Mm. And because of Narada Muni's perfect, his benediction, Dhruva actually achieved perfection, achieved the result of his yoga. But also in the conversation, Narada Muni told him, saying that do it later when you become mature, meaning when you are not going behind these material desires, then you practice devotional service. In both ways, it is a benediction because, however it is, if a Vaishnava has given his mercy, then it's a benediction. But we have to utilize it. See, the only difference between maybe those devotees who are running behind mixed devotional service and Dhruva Maharaj is Dhruva followed the process very strictly. That was the reason why he was able to actually overcome. He was actually able to achieve perfection. His determination to just simply follow what was told to him. Dhruva Maharaj regretted very much that he could not take seriously the instruction of his spiritual master and that his consciousness was therefore contaminated. Still, the Lord is so merciful that due to, see, Dhruva's execution of devotional service, he offered Dhruva the ultimate Vaishnava board. Uh, so he could not take one serious instruction seriously, but he took the other seriously. So there are two instructions from Narada Muni. One is to say, don't do it now, do devotion later. That Dhruva neglected. But then, okay, then since he insisted, saying that, no, no, I want to achieve this. Narada Muni initiated him, gave him the process, which he stuck to with determination, supreme determination. So he was able to achieve the ultimate goal. So the point is that somewhere we have to commit ourselves to the instructions of Guru. There may be many instructions. At least if you can hold on to one instruction or few instructions, even if we are not able to execute the others, maybe we will be saved from fall down. At least that's what seems to be from this incident. Um, and that too, Dhruva did not enviously reject. He just said, I am not qualified. I'm not able to appreciate what you are saying. I'm just fallen. Because of my fallen state, I'm not able to accept your instruction, where you are saying that don't do now, come back later. Because I'm, in this vengeful attitude. I'm not able to accept your instruction. So he also kind of he accepted that his fallen state and that his inability to accept the instruction, and he was not that he was happy about it, but he said, no, no, but I'm not able to appreciate it, so please give me mercy. Mm. So we have to understand very deeply Dhruva Maharaj's position. Mm. Yeah, Prabhu.
Prabhu, why did Dhruva Maharaj thought like that? That demigods might have conspired.
Nah, that Prabhupada is not explained, so uh, we don't know. What is not there in the purports, we can't speculate. It's not there in Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur's commentary also, so I don't know. I don't know why he thought that way, because even in the purport, Prabhupada is not necessarily saying that demigods are actually envious. He just said, like, generally they are envious, but that is only when somebody is running behind something material. But whether they were actually envious in this case, that even Srila Prabhupada is not commented, so I don't know. I can't comment.
Okay.
दैवीं मायामुपाश्रित्य प्रसुप्तः इव भिन्नदृक् तप्ये द्वितीयेऽप्यसति भ्रातृव्यहृद् रुजा. Maharaj lamented, I was under the influence of the illusory energy, being ignorant of the actual facts. I was sleeping on her lap under a vision of duality. I saw my brother as my enemy, and falsely I lamented within my heart, thinking they are my enemies. Real knowledge is revealed to a devotee only when he comes to the right conclusion about life by the grace of the Lord. Our creation of friends and enemies within this material world is something like dreaming at night. In dreams, we create so many things out of various impressions in the subconscious mind, but all such creations are simply temporary and unreal. In the same way, although apparently we are awake in material life, because we have no information of the soul and the super soul, we create many friends and enemies simply out of imagination. Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami says that within this material world or material consciousness, good and bad are the same. The distinction between good and bad is simply a mental concoction. The actual fact is that all living entities are sons of God or byproducts of his marginal energy. Because of our being contaminated by the modes of material nature, we distinguish one spiritual spark from another. That is also another kind of dreaming. It is stated in the Bhagavad Gita that those who are actually learned do not make any distinction between a learned scholar, a brahmana, an elephant, a dog, and a chandala. They do not see in terms of the external body, rather, they see the person as spirit soul. By higher understanding, one can know that the material body is nothing but a combination of five material elements. In that sense, also, the bodily construction of a human being and that of a demigod are one and the same. From the spiritual point of view, we are all spiritual sparks, parts and parcels of the Supreme Spirit God. Either materially or spiritually, we are basically one, but we make friends and enemies as dictated by the illusory energy. Dhruva Maharaj therefore said, Daivi Mayam Upashritya. Cause of his bewilderment was his association with the illusory material energy. So, our material conception of life. What is material conception of life? Anything which is not connected to Krishna or devotional service is a material conception. If we are attached, attracted, affected by anything material, we should just remember this verse. It is just because of my illusion. Because I am sleeping on the lap of Maya. But nothing is real. That is not real. That is just temporary and is going to end very soon. Mm. The only real thing is our relationship with Krishna and our service towards Him. Everything else is just temporary and is like a dream. Mm. So clearly, there is no need to take anything material seriously. Because it's just like in a dream. Prabhupada says it's like in a cinema. You're sitting in a cinema and then there's something happening and we're crying. It's meaningless. Our life, material life is like this. It's like in the cinemas. So if we are taking our material life too seriously, that means we are in serious illusion. And then we create friends and enemies, and everything is just mental concoction. That's all. And everything is just a result of Maya. Because we've been in this material world, we've done things in the past, we have karma phala, and we have to experience that. So that's going to come back. That's all. Now, when the karma phala comes back, we create more karma by going deeper and deeper into ignorance. That is not expected. Prabhupada clearly says distinction between good and bad is simply a mental concoction. Everything is bad in this material world because anything which is taking us away from Krishna is bad. Anything. Even our attachment to good, so-called good of this material world, if it takes us away from Krishna, it is bad. With that, even our so-called attachment to so-called good things of this material world, if they take us away from Krishna, it is bad. Mm. So it's all just illusion. It's just illusion. It's just temporary cinema. Don't give too much importance to material things. Just remain fixed in spiritual life. This is the instruction. Mm. मयैतत् प्रार्थितं व्यर्थं चिकित्सेव गतायुषि प्रसाद्य जगद आत्मानं तपसा दुष्प्रसादनं भवच्चिदम् अयाचेहं भवं भाग्य विवर्जितः. Yeah, Vamshi Prabhu. Okay, let me just finish this one thing. It's very difficult to satisfy the Supreme Lord. But in my case, although I've satisfied the super soul of the whole universe, I've prayed only for useless things. My activities were exactly like treatment given to a person who is already dead. Mm. Just see how unfortunate I am. For in spite of meeting the Supreme Lord, who can cut one's link with birth and death, I prayed for the same conditions again. Sometimes it so happens that a devotee engaged in loving service of the Lord desires some material benefit in exchange for this service. This is not the proper way to discharge devotional service. Out of ignorance, of course, sometimes the devotee does so, but Dhruva regrets his personal behavior in this connection. Mm. Yeah, Vamshi Prabhu.
Prabhu Hare Krishna.
Yeah.
2 points, Prabhu, in the previous verse. No, so one, it is told that good and bad in material world is same. So,
Mm.
could you elaborate more on that? And another aspect is how do we bring this into a practical application? Uh, in our life, because there is always a fluctuation for any good and bad. There is always emotions being changed for happiness and sadness. So just want to understand, like, how do we bring it into a practical aspects, or how do we apply it in our real life?
Okay, what is good? There's nothing like good or bad. Everything is mental concoction. For example, think of good. What is good? Okay, doing charity is good. Okay, I gave some money to a beggar. Is it good? Mm, Maybe, may not be. If it results in further entanglement of the jiva in this material world, then it is bad. So anything that we do which looks like it's good, if it results in further bondage for the jiva, then it's bad. For example, people think that okay, economic advancement is good. No, when you do economic advancement, then you're entangled. Then how is it good? So what is really good? The only thing that is good is our attachment to Krishna and devotional service. That's the only thing which is good because that gives us actual shreyas, long-term benefit. Everything else is just prayers. And whatever is prayers, even though it looks good, is not really good because it's all entanglement. It's all bondage, isn't it?
Yes, Prabhu. Yeah.
Okay, that part is clear. Okay, now how do we apply it in our life? By being conscious. See, simple thing, as much as possible, we are engaged in devotional service. So much we will come out of all these dualities. These are just dualities. And we have to see on the platform of the soul. So our good and bad normally is on the platform of the body, because that's what we have been taught. We've never been taught anything like good or bad of the soul. So if any think of good or bad of the soul, which means anybody who is doing devotional service is good, anybody who is not doing devotional service is not good. So there is no point in making this distinction on the material platform, meaning bodily we are saying, okay, these activities are good on from the bodily conception of life, these activities are bad. We should change that to say, okay, as a person might be doing something bad on the material platform, right? But still it is on the material platform. And if that is affecting me, why is it affecting me? Because of my karma phala. Then go on in devotional service. Mm, mm. Also, let me put it this way. If anything good of this material world takes you away from Krishna consciousness, then it's not good. Then you be away from that. For example, people say, oh, yeah, you people, you are all devotees, you don't eat outside, you don't attend functions. Come attend functions with us, family functions, eat the food that we bring. Yeah, materially it's maybe good. Yeah, good to have, be in society, interact with relatives, this, that. But spiritually it's not good. So now even if somebody is putting pressure on you to do this so-called good, you should not do, because it's not good spiritually. But if you get affected saying that, no, no, see, my parents are feeling so bad, or my so and so is feeling so bad that I'm not, attending any family functions, let me go. So your so-called good brought you bad on from a Krishna conscious perspective. So basically, we should not get stuck with this good and bad of this material world. We have to be simply fixed in devotional service. And of course, somehow practically we can try to manage situations. Yeah, so many things we do on material platform. If you have some festival, we can't go to office, we can lie in the office, whatever, right? We are not stuck with that good. Oh, it's not good to say lie. No, okay. For devotional service, we can lie. But like this, we should not get stuck with this good and bad of this world, which will take us away from Krishna. Is that clear?
Yes, Prabhu. Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Thanks, Prabhu. Hare
Yeah.
Krishna.
Okay. Anything else? Anybody? Yeah. Okay.
Can I also add something, Prabhu, here
Yeah.
on this good and bad platform? Uh, I guess we have, I mean, each individual, we see it good and bad in different ways. That is because we are relating ourselves too much materially, is what I'm thinking after hearing this. And probably there is just one good, one bad, keeping Krishna in mind. So I think that's one realization what I'm having at this moment. And that's where I think as a world also we have a lot of things which is good for a individual, and a country is not good for maybe someone else.
Yeah. All that is material conception of life. Good and
Mm-hmm.
bad is just material conception of life. That's all. Simple.
Right, Prabhu.
The only
Yes.
real good is Krishna. Everything else is bad. Simple. Okay. Swarajyam yacchato maudhyan mano me vikshito bata ishvarat kshina punyena palikaran ivadhanaha. Because of my state of complete foolishness and paucity of pious activities. All the Lord offered me is personal service. I wanted material name, fame, and prosperity. My case is just like that of the poor man who, when he satisfied a great emperor who wanted to give him anything he might ask, out of ignorance asked only a few broken grains of husk rice. In this verse, the word swarajyam, which means complete independence, is very significant. Conditioned soul does not know what complete independence is. Complete independence means situation in one's constitutional position. The real independence of a living being who is part and parcel of the Supreme Lord is to remain always dependent on the Supreme Lord. Just like a child who plays in complete independence, guided by his parents who watch over him. Please remember this. We have to always remain dependent on the Supreme Lord. The independence of the conditioned soul does not mean to fight with the obstacles offered by Maya, but to surrender to Krishna. Look at this. Wow, what a powerful statement. The independence of the conditioned soul does not mean to fight with the obstacles offered by Maya. This is what we have been taught, saying that fight, 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 try to remove all the obstacles from the path. That is not the use of our independence. The use of our independence is to surrender to Krishna and be dependent on Him. In the material world, everyone is trying to become completely independent simply by fighting against the obstacles offered by Maya. This is called struggle for existence. Everybody is struggling to become independent from their so-called miseries. And what are they doing? They're trying to fight against Maya. But that's not what we are supposed to do. We are supposed to simply depend on Krishna and surrender to Him in our difficulties. And we can try to do something materially. We can try. Real independence is to be reinstated in the service of the Lord. Anyone who goes to the Vaikuntha planets or Goloka Vrindavana planet is freely offering his service to the Lord. That is complete independence. Just contrary to this is material overlordship, which we wrongly take to be independence. Many great political leaders have tried to establish independence, but due to such so-called independence, the people's independence has only increased. The people's dependence has only increased. Like India wanted to become independent, now they become more dependent. Like that. That's what Prabhupada is saying. Living entity cannot be happy trying to be independent in the material world. One has to surrender, therefore, unto the lotus feet of Lord and engage in his original eternal service. Wow, a powerful statement. Living entity cannot be happy trying to be independent. Living entity can be happy only by trying to become dependent on the Supreme Lord, only by surrendering unto Krishna. Becoming dependent on the Supreme Lord. Please remember this. We have to become dependent on the Supreme Lord. We have to realize how tiny we are, how insignificant we are, how nothing is possible in our hands from us. And we have to depend on Krishna. Krishna, you are everything. You see what needs to be done. I don't know. I'm incapable. In the first canto, when Ashwatthama, sends that Brahmastra towards the Pandavas, Prabhupada writes in the purport, Pandavas try to take up their weapons to fight because that is their, varnashrama position. Kshatriyas, they have to fight, they have to defend themselves, etc. But Krishna is saying, oh, not enough time. They won't be able to successfully, prevent this Brahmastra from destroying them. So, Krishna just takes his Sudarshan. Meaning, because the purport Prabhupada says that their Pandavas were fully dependent on the will of the Supreme Lord. Fully dependent, though they were the most capable. The dependence is a state of mind wherein in the back of mind always it is like, okay, yeah, Krishna knows best. I'm dependent on him, he will take care. But yeah, I will try to do my duty. Okay, some weapon, some astra, some this one is coming to destroy me. Okay, let me try. But Krishna says, oh, he's trying, but he won't be able to handle it. It's beyond him. But he surrendered to me. Okay, I will take care. Yogakshemam Bahamya. Many times we see, I mean, I also experienced this in my life many times. Is to we feel we are bogged down by very difficult material situations, very difficult material situations, right? And we are constantly thinking about how to solve it, how to solve it, how to solve it. But what we forget is Krishna. Now, over a period of time, my thinking is changing to saying, okay, I don't know whether anything is possible from me at all. If anything is there in my hand at all. So first I will think about Krishna. Krishna, please guide me what I need to do. And then I continue to try and use my intelligence to do whatever is possible. And then Krishna will direct me. Is the faith I have. Right? So this is how we have to actually try to deal with material situations. Uh, when material problems come, I've seen normally devotees go away from Krishna. No, this is the opportunity to come closer to Krishna, to become more dependent on Krishna. Like Kunti Maharani says, let those problems come again because we're going to think about you. Dhruva Maharaj regrets that he wanted material opulence and greater prosperity than that of his great grandfather, Lord Brahma. His begging from the Lord was like a poor man's asking a great emperor for a few grains of broken rice. Conclusion is that anyone who is engaged in the loving service of the Lord should never ask for material prosperity from the Lord. The awarding of material prosperity simply depends on the stringent rules and regulations of the external energy. Pure devotees ask the Lord only for the privilege of serving Him. This is our real independence. If you want anything else, it's a sign of our misfortune. Very, very clear. Again, these things are, we have to make note. That's why I keep saying, please make notes. I don't know how many of you are doing. Like in one class, in one reading of 3, 4, 5 verses, there will be tens of things that are important for us from practical application perspective. I don't know how many of you are actually noting these things down, which is why once in a while when I'm reading Srimad Bhagavatam, I put these kind of gems, nuggets in our WhatsApp group so that you can note them. And the idea is that you also have to start doing this for yourself. Read, make notes like this, which are very powerful instructions. Pure devotees are asked only for the privilege of serving Him. So now, if you want to become pure devotees, and in our life we are asking the Lord for anything apart from privilege of serving Him, then we should remember this statement. No, pure devotees don't ask for anything else. It's a sign of misfortune. Okay, let me ask only for the privilege of serving Krishna. This is how we actually imbibe these qualities in our life. That Prabhupada is actually very explicitly stating in the purports. Okay, I'll stop here. Any questions, comments? All okay. Okay. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Okay, Shashank Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dandat Pranav. Just a realization I noticed, Prabhu, like from the sentence, like independence of the conditioned soul does not mean to fight. But as you said, like from childhood days, we learned this only. Every time, even I was thinking like any obstacle, first my mind was okay. Let me find some solution. What kind of analysis? What could make me to remove this obstacle? Like in the sense, even after coming, okay, first let me try from my side. I was having Krishna will come, but let me try from my side. I was pitching, but now,
Good point.
yeah,
Good point.
like
Shashank Prabhu is making a very deep point. He said first we think of our ability, then if nothing, okay, if it's all beyond us, now let us think about Krishna. But actually it's the other way around. In our mind always permanently that my mindset has to be there saying that I'm worthless, I'm useless, I am incapable, but it's all Krishna's mercy. And the dependence on Krishna like a child that has to be there.
yeah, okay.
Sorry. Yeah, so that mood, that mindset has to be there, that I am completely dependent on the Supreme Lord. I'm an incapable child. Yeah. Thank you, Prabhu, for pointing that. Yeah, Rohini Mataji.
Thanks, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Dhanavad Pranam.
Yeah.
But in one of these slokas, Prabhupada speaks about the bird story, right? And then Garuda will come and help. So Krishna helps those who helps themselves. So we have to
Yeah.
remember Krishna and we have to try our bit also, right?
But we have to first remember Krishna. Our problem is we try, then nothing is happening. Okay, fine, Krishna. Okay, now you are my only resort. That has to change. Like I said, like Pandavas, they were always completely dependent on the Supreme Lord,
Right.
even though they were so capable, right? And it's not that they're explicitly standing there on the battlefield and praying to Krishna. No, it's just a part of them. It's just inbuilt in their psyche, in their existence, saying, yeah, Krishna is there. I'm dependent on Krishna. Okay, now what do I need to do? Okay, I'm a Kshatriya. I have to take, okay, lift my weapon, try to, yeah, that's a subsequent. But it doesn't, okay, let me put it this way, right? Like in the actions of pure devotees, that the realization or the consciousness of their being surrendered to the Supreme Lord is so built in that it's not explicitly visible, right? It's not like they are sitting there and then suddenly started Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, or praying to the Supreme Lord, saying that Krishna, you are the protector. Okay, now let me take my weapon. No, yeah, it's just built in. It's like immediately when there is some situation, their dependence on the Lord is not just for difficult things. Their dependence on the Lord is there throughout.
Mhm.
Our problem is our dependence on the Lord comes in only when there is difficulty which is gone beyond us.
Yeah, that is true.
But the pure devotees, they're always fixed in this consciousness that I'm always dependent on Krishna. He is my father. He is my everything.
Right.
Their existence is only based on this platform. So it's natural for them to just, yeah, they're just trying, lifting their weapon. But then Krishna knows, yeah, no, they're trying, but I know that I have to intervene here because it's not possible for them. It's
Right.
very, very difficult to even
Yeah.
understand or appreciate this state, right? So much dependency. It's just like a child who's so helplessly dependent on parents that he doesn't go about thinking at every stage in his life saying that, no, my parents are there. They won't help me. My parents are there. No, it's just built in. It's just built in. It's the constitutional position. That's the word, right? Yeah.
Right.
Deep inside, we should understand saying that we are insignificant anu atma, incapable of anything. It's all just the mercy of Krishna, that anything that is happening in our life is just mercy of Krishna. If we are fixed in that mindset, then we will never think independently or think we are independent.
True, bro. Thank you, Hare Krishna.
Yeah, Mataji, Sumantana Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, aren't we like Gajendra Prabhu? Because in the beginning, we all try, we are in the material world, our sources are this. I,
Yeah.
we are trying to solve problems. Aapke paas chale jao, kisi ke paas chale jao. Like, I mean, recently, our whole family was going through quite a lot of a squeeze, right? And then, you depend on Krishna, yes, Prabhu, but wo bhi to aana chahiye na. जैसे गजेंद्र को बाद में आया ही टुक अ फ्लावर ऑफर्ड इट टू द लॉर्ड वो बुद्धि भी तो उस समय काम नहीं करता ना प्रभु लाइक बिकॉज यू आर सो सोक्ड इन दैट सिचुएशन like it doesn't come like the Pandavas and automatically for a child the dependency is so automatic. I mean, because he knows nothing but the parents and this he feels them physically, he sees them physically, but our mind is so contaminated, Prabhu. Even Gajendra, he was the most powerful, but क्या हुआ माया में जब चिपका लास्ट में जब मरने को हुआ only then he remembered the Lord.
Gajendra did not have Srila Prabhupada.
Prabhu, but I mean he had no, Prabhu, like we have
No, Mataji, I'm seriously answered your question. I said
Prabhu,
Gajendra did not have Srila Prabhupada. See, what we have to understand, Mataji, is Gajendra is showing, Gajendra is an example of mixed devotion, right? He is an example of Artha Artharthi Jignasu Gnani, right? We should have crossed that stage in our life. We should move forward, right? We should come to the stage of Pandavas, right? Or walking in their footsteps. And of course, it's not a overnight thing. It's not something which is going to happen overnight, right? But if there are 10 situations in our life, right? First situation, yes, we'll be Gajendra. Second situation, Gajendra. Third situation, maybe Gajendra minus. Fifth situation, Gajendra minus. 10th situation, Pandavas. Or Pandavas, little bit towards Pandavas. 20th situation, little bit more towards Pandavas. 100th situation, maybe fully Pandavas. But if we don't make the transition at all, if we are not trying to move and we are simply wanting to remain in the conditioned mindset itself, then we're not making any effort. Then we are just leaving it to conditioning, and just, some auto button has been pressed, right? And it's just however it is running, it's just running like that. But we are Atma, we are Sakriya, we are active, we are hearing all these instructions. At least post facto, at least the way I think about it is, a situation comes, I sometimes, I, I fail, like you said, completely, not even thinking in these lines, just think materially, fail. After the failure, I repent and I then say, no, 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 next time at least let me try. Let me bring this in one intervention. How I practice in my life is, okay, next time this happens, can I try to do this one thing in the middle before I take the same route that I took this time? And that one single intervention would be to get me closer to Krishna consciousness than Maya consciousness or material consciousness. Now, next time again, the same situation, of course, Krishna gives us so many opportunities. Similar situations keep coming again and again. Again, if suppose the next time again I fail to implement that one thing that I thought last time, I'm going to become again conscious about it, saying that again I failed. Okay, next time I'm going to try again, right? But it can't be that we are unconscious about it. It can't be that we are just running like,
Like,
puppets,
Oh.
right? Like machines. We have to become conscious about where our gaps are, how we have to move forward. We have to keep trying. It's not about success, it's about sincere attempt. Right? Success, yeah, nobody knows, right? We are also badly conditioned that unless there is mercy of Krishna, we might not be able to do, we will not be able to do anything. But Krishna sees our sincerity. Krishna is saying that, okay, this devotee is really trying, he's really trying, but his conditioning is very, very strong, poor thing. Let me help him. Only then something is possible. Mm. But if we are just not sincere, serious at all about these things, then we are happy to remain in that conditioned status quo of our life, then what can anybody do? Krishna will also not intervene. While what you are saying is absolutely true of all of us, but we have to keep trying. Sincerely keep trying to improve, improve, improve. Every day, every situation in our life is an opportunity to move. Yesterday, I was talking to some devotees who were having some serious problems in marriage. Then I was just telling them, saying that, see, this is all illusion, right? This good and bad is all illusion, like whatever purport we were seeing today. I said, see, everything is, Krishna is just giving us an opportunity to become a better devotee. Why don't we see things like that? Why can't we see things like that and learn from those situations and just try to become a better devotee? Why should we look at material situations in any other way? Because it's just an illusion any which way. It's all going to end. In course of time, it's going to end, isn't it?
yes.
So why are we just so? And yes, Krishna is also saying, try. Okay, we'll try, but I'm dependent on Krishna. That's why Kunti Maharani's prayers, we should always remember, why is she saying that? Because all her problems were so big that it was way beyond her. As a single mother, as they call today, right? It was all so difficult, and just imagine her motherly position, saying that, how do I protect all my children? How do I protect myself? I don't have anybody to protect me. Krishna is there.
No, because I faced this very recently, probably like going through and I said, "No, either say," and you won't believe it. Like ultimately, like Draupadi, just when you put up your hand and say, "Enough," I don't know what the situation is going to be tomorrow morning.
Yeah.
Prabhu, help comes from unknown quarters just when you're going to break.
Absolutely.
I said, Krishna, it's miraculous.
Yes,
it is
absolutely.
Just a miracle, Prabhu. Nothing,
And
nothing.
Krishna is showing that it's
Nothing.
okay. Krishna, answering your question, Krishna is showing it's okay even if you're a Gajendra. It's okay even if you're a Gajendra. I'm still there.
Yeah.
I'm still there.
I just went through that, Prabhu. Like I just recently went. I mean, the whole family was like this, and you won't believe how beautifully and how unknowingly it. I don't know what to tell you. It just,
Yeah,
you know, like
yeah,
ऐसे
and-
निकलते हो, मक्खन की तरह निकलते
yeah,
हो.
Makal ke
And
antara, yeah.
and people from unknown, you know, like just acquaintance will come and stand by and say, "Hey, what happened? Come on, take it,
Yeah,
finish it."
yeah.
I mean, Krishna किसमें बढ़ के आता है, you never know. कैसे help आता है, you
Absolutely.
never
I
know.
mean,
You never know.
he's so kind and
You
merciful that he will
never know.
always do.
And
Right?
what do we do, Prabhu? So एक सुबह है ना, ठीक है. We're not even, I mean, I won't say we are pure devotees also. आप जैसे कहते हो प्रभुपाद life में है, he showed us a path. That's a, we are not even, we are trying to become a devotee. At least I'm saying 30 years
No,
down the
absolutely.
lane.
Absolutely.
I'm
All
just
of us are
floating.
trying to become devotees, but we have to keep trying. That's the whole point, right? We have to always keep trying. We always have to be dependent on Krishna. And slowly we will move towards this. See, this is like, you know, like I keep saying, Bhagavatam, Prabhupada's statements in purports in his books is the mold of a devotee. You know, we should always remember this. It's a mold of a devotee. We have to fit into this mold. His instructions are the mold of a pure devotee. We have to somehow, over a period of time, keep trying, fit ourselves into this mold. And then when we fit this mold, Krishna is saying, yes, come, ready, you're ready, come, hello. Yeah, even if our little one finger is outside the mold, Krishna will say, it's okay. Prabhupada ka chela hai, chalo. le lenge." Right?
Yes,
So that's our position, right? Very, very sanatana, sanata. Yes, elsewhere I was reading anata, sanata. Here that sanata. Completely under the protection and guidance of great acharyas, gurus, Vaishnavas, Krishna. So our situation is very, very different. We are very, very fortunate. We are very, very blessed. Okay, Jai, thank you so much.
Thank you,
We'll
Prabhu.
conclude, yeah. Bhagavatam ki jai, Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Vancha Kalpatarushya Kripa Sindhu Bhavaja. Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Hare Krishna to all listeners.